Yen did research showing that the IQ of the Afrikaners was quite a bit lower than that of the British in South Africa, and then quite recently there's been a big Flynn effect on the Afrikaner IQ, and it's gone right up, and it's now got parity with the English-speaking Africans. His theory was that most of the Afrikaners were living on farms, and so they weren't particularly advanced, they weren't particularly educated. I don't know why that is the case, as there's a lot of Stead and Bosch, there's a big Afrikaner higher education infrastructure in Africa, so I don't know quite why that would be. But it was quite a big difference, about 5 points, and now it's been closed. And similarly the Korean IQ, that shot up on the Ravens test, so that's gone up by 7 points a decade is huge. One of my predictions, when Peachnig and Varashek put out their paper on national differences in the rate of the Flynn effect, one of the things I predicted was that one of the reasons you get this pattern of very large effects in East Asia, middle-sized ones in Europe, and relatively small ones in Africa, is because the Flynn effect is driven by differences in life history speed, so longitudinally life history speed has been slowing for both genetic and epigenetic reasons. There's been selection pressures favouring slower life history, and there have also been environments which are conducive to the canalization of slower life histories as a function of decreasing extrinsic morbidity and mortality. So you've had a double dose essentially of selection factors favouring slow life history, and one of the things slow life history individuals are capable of doing is engaging in cognitive specialisation. This is a form of character displacement. It's a form of competitive release behaviour as well. If you're living in a crowded environment and you become a specialist in a cognitive domain, you can accommodate more people in a smaller area, so you can have higher population densities, and the carrying capacity can go up through division of labour, so essentially the Flynn effect looks a bit like that process. It's not a gain in G, but then again, it doesn't have to be a gain in G because G and K are not actually correlated with each other. Moreover, G is selected in such a way that it's going down, whereas K is selected in contemporary populations in such a way that it's going up. So the selection pressures are completely orthogonally operating on these two distinct sources of psychometric variance. So therefore, if you have large Flynn effects in East Asia, that's probably a reflection of the underlying slow life history of East Asians relative to other groups.